So other than looking up at the sky and fantasizing, the globe only has psychological methods for getting you to believe, i.e. being gaslit by the ignorant general populace into going along with the insane delusion that we live on a cannonball flying for a vacuum. It's all psychological. But here's the thing, it means nothing when you stand on the things that are simply true, which is why I won't entertain or stand by anything that can't be demonstrated in a scientific manner. That way I don't put myself out there to be debunked by anyone. The only debunked videos that you'll see regarding me will be men, believe it or not, grown men defending airfix models and CGI fails and harness fails. This is all the globopropagandists offer up, is defense of absurdities. They can't even provide real-world demonstrable science. So it's all psychological to get you to go along with the delusion that is the globe, okay? But of course, when you stand on the things that are simply true, that can be demonstrated, like myself, the power of the gaslighting is diminished to zero because they have nothing. It's water off a duck's back. Now here's a prime example. Years ago, I've gone into the canteen at work. It's full of brickies. I could sense the atmosphere as soon as I walked in, so I already knew it was coming. One guy with a really cheeky grin, "Here, drive, what's this about you thinking the earth's flat?" And the whole canteen erupted with laughter. I spent 2 or 3 minutes destroying the straw man misrepresentations that resided in these bricklayers' heads, of course put there by the mainstream. Once that had been swatted out of the way, I gave the lads a few prime real-world examples of what I stood by. Tower cranes, plumb bobs, air pressure systems cannot reside next to a vacuum without solid separation. Large standing bodies of water, of course, do not have the ability to display convexity upon its surface. And of course, the brickies and all the tradesmen use plumb bobs and levels, so I highlighted that as well. And of course, the tower crane. You can't have cranes being dead still on a cannonball that's doing ludicrous speeds in all different directions. Some of these cranes upside down in relation to me. Clearly ridiculous and scientifically impossible. Excuse me a sec. And as a result, the canteen, over the course of about 4 or 5 minutes, went from one of mockery to one of dead silence. You could hear a pin drop as I'd gone from being mocked by this group of ignorant bricklayers to suddenly the canteen's dead quiet. I've got 20 tradesmen just staring at me like mannequins, waiting, not knowing what to do or what to say. I kind of left it at that, walked out, and that all the way walking up the path I could hear the utter silence from the canteen, as of course the penny had dropped like a brick falling from the top of the scaffolding and landing on one of these bricklayers' heads. Over the course of the next few weeks, I was asked various questions regarding our realm, about what I stand by, and as a result of that, quite a lot of men on that site actually woke up to the globe lie. One of them was actually doing an open university course. I can't remember if it might have even been astrophysics. He still continued the course, but had a bit of a rude awakening regarding the conversations me and him had. He could display the honesty to stand by the things that were true, and that's all I do. And when you stand by those things that are true, no amount of gaslighting can put you off the path. It can. It doesn't work, because the things you stand by are tested and verified by all, even the people that are trying to gaslight you. And that only leaves one thing for these people then, to lie and misrepresent. And what they do then, these are the online representatives I should say, what they do then is expose themselves even more. They expose themselves from being just wrong to now dishonest. So it doesn't matter how this plays out. When you stand by the things that are fundamentally true, all you're going to do is expose the globe and the representatives online, whether it's their ignorance or whether they're dishonest. Do not fall for the psychological trap by being brought into the insane herd of cannonball delusionists just to feel comfortable. You should feel incredibly comfortable, stood on the ground that is fundamentally true. And for me, it's the 3 fundamentals: large standing bodies of water, tower cranes, and air pressure systems cannot be right next to a vacuum without solid separation. 3 scientific fundamental facts that can be tested and verified by every human on Earth that proves scientifically the globe is impossible. So no amount of gaslighting will ever change that. It will never change my opinion. They've tried every tactic and it's failed. Why? Because I stand by the things that are simply true, and so should you. I know a lot of globies watch these videos, and I know a lot of people on the fence watch these videos. Guys, if you stand by the things that are true, there's no better way to be empowered by what is, rather than be fooled easily by putting aside the things that are true and adopting idiocy based on assumptions, silly stories, mathematics, cartoons. And when I say mathematics regarding the globe, it's literally mathematical storytelling. That's it, backed up by cartoons and explanations. The globe can only get you psychologically, and when you stand on the things that are true, it has nothing. This crane is doing my nutting this morning. Like I said, it only has the psychological option, and if you're strong of mind and you can be honest with yourself, the globe's clearly ridiculous, and this is why it's failing day by day by day online, as many people are waking up. And I have to thank the globe representatives, the propagandists, because you're now speeding up the process for me by lying and misrepresenting my claims, thus exposing yourself and the globe even more. So keep up the good work, chaps. No amount of gaslighting from ignorant individuals or groups should ever sway you from the truth. If anything, you should correct them, just like I did with the room full of brickies. Total riding high on their Dunning-Kruger of globe insanity, which quickly came crashing down, back down to demonstrable reality, as the whole room, whole canteen of brickies were converted from moronic cannonball delusionists to direct realists. Sorry, the globe never was true. It was just something that had been put in your imagination, you've been convinced, and a little bit of a psychological op to get you to go along with the delusion had been implemented. But the game is up, the lies are unraveling, the truth is the truth. If you stand by it, it's obvious. No amount of psychological pantomime is ever going to get you to sway from the path that is the truth. The game is quite clearly up, lads, and all you need to do is gain control of your mind, stay true to what is, and do not, and I mean this, do not give in to feelings of discomfort if people, through their ignorance and their silly mantras, are making you feel uncomfortable for standing by the things that are true. Correct them. Even if they don't see it, you've planted a seed for when they have a moment of clarity to grasp it, possibly. It's all in the mind, guys. When you've got control of your mind, anything's possible. Have a good one anyway. Cheers, guys.
But this is a NASA technical manual. MIT, the Army Research Laboratory, flying over a flat, non-rotating Earth. Flat Earth with a flat Earth assumption. Non-rotating flat Earth. A flat, non-rotating Earth may be assumed. A flat and non-rotating, assuming a flat Earth. Flat, non-rotating Earth. A non-rotating Earth. Flat, non-rotating Earth. Validity of flat Earth based on a flat Earth assumption for a flat Earth and a flat atmosphere. Flat, non-rotating Earth. The flat Earth model. Propagation of electromagnetic fields over flat Earth. Ballistic vehicle motion. A closed-form solution is developed for the motion of a ballistic vehicle entering the atmosphere over a flat, non-rotating Earth. The assumption of these equations assume a flat Earth.
Warning, do not watch this video unless you want to become a flat earther. You say yeah right, but I guarantee you that you don't actually know what we believe. And if you let yourself watch to the end with an open mind, you'll find out that it's actually you that's been hanging on a belief system, on a religion as it relates to the globe. You'll also develop a newfound respect for this group of people that support this channel and who are so willing to be called stupid, so willing to be looked at as idiots for simply questioning the narrative of what they're being told. Because the reality is, no one becomes a flat earther by seeing the floating pancake. Yeah, we think that's ridiculous too. We become flat earthers by studying and finding major errors in the heliocentric model and actively pursuing truth, which I guarantee you is harder than passively absorbing a lie. We probably actually know more about what you believe than you do. Remember, we used to be you. So trust me when I say that any objection that is currently or is about to arise in your mind, we've already dealt with ourselves. And if this thing was truly easily debunkable, none of us would still be flat earthers. Have you not wondered why someone would believe in something so stupid as flat earth? Why people don't mind being called idiots? Maybe it's because it's not that stupid. Maybe someone wants you to think it's stupid. Maybe someone is working really hard behind the scenes to make you think that we believe in a square pancake flying through the solar system that you could just step off of and in the nothingness of space. But again, I assure you, we think that's ridiculous too. Nor do we have anything to do with the Flat Earth Society. I've attended and spoken at conferences all over the US and Canada and met thousands of flat earthers, and not once, never, have I met someone associated with the Flat Earth Society. That is an organization of half-truths and idiotic science, okay? We are simply people in search of truth who hold empirical, measurable, repeatable science as well as ancient accounts on a higher level than mere theoretical mathematics. And last thing before I get going, I want you to know that they are banking on you not questioning this. They're hoping to their God with a lowercase g that you do not look into this, because they know if you do, you're going to have some major questions that unfortunately have no warm and fuzzy answers, which is why they've worked so hard to keep the flat earth, the perception of flat earth, as a theory that only morons could believe in. So sit back, relax, and I promise you will not regret it.
In the age of social media censorship, questioning whether or not the Earth is a globe has been deemed harmful thought. But why is this? We seem to be conditioned to think that the issue has been scientifically settled. But this is not the case. Our most popular scientists recognize that the geocentric model, where the Earth is at the center of the universe, is observably accurate. Edwin Hubble and Stephen Hawking went as far as to say that they reject the geocentric model not based on scientific reasoning, but rather because they find the thought of being at the center of the universe to be emotionally disturbing. Physicist George Ellis stated that you cannot disprove the geocentric model, you can only exclude it on philosophical grounds. The Michelson-Morley experiment in the 1880s proved the Earth was stationary, and Albert Einstein claimed this was a serious embarrassment and intended to disprove it with his relativity theory, but later admitted that he had failed to do so. We are conditioned to think that the heliocentric model is scientifically superior to the geocentric model, but when we apply scientific reasoning, we discover that this is not true. Contrary to popular thought, the scientific community has disputed the heliocentric model for centuries, such as the Earth's curvature. According to the heliocentric Earth model, the Earth is 24,000 miles in circumference, and if one were standing at sea level, they should only be able to see less than 3 miles before the surface of the Earth curves out of view. But this has been proven to be false for centuries, from the Bedford Level experiments of 1838 to modern photography. This photograph of Chicago was taken almost 60 miles away from Grand Mere State Park in Michigan. On a spherical Earth, this would be impossible. Using the Pythagorean theorem and the current dimensions of the Earth, the top of the tallest skyscraper should be 900 feet below the observable horizon. Local news explained this anomaly by claiming the image was a mirage.
And what you're seeing here is a mirage. We typically would not be able to see this from the Lake Michigan shore. We talked about this last night. Conditions are right on the lake that we're actually seeing a mirage.
They claimed that somehow light refraction and perfect weather conditions are responsible for creating a photorealistic mirage of the Chicago skyline, appearing to sit on the flat horizon from almost 60 miles away. Anomalies in the Earth's curvature can also be found in old lighthouses, able to be seen for several miles past what is possible on the heliocentric model, and weapons guidance systems that are capable of sighting targets that would only be possible on a flat plane. We are accustomed to observing ships disappearing over the curve, but with modern consumer cameras, we can observe that this seems to be an optical illusion based on light reflection and the laws of perspective. Many of us tend to think the planet is too big to observe curvature, but the empirical evidence tells us that either the surface of the Earth is a flat plane or the planet is at least 100 times bigger than we are told. Another very intriguing argument for flat earthers is Antarctica, the mysterious massive continent at our southern pole that nobody is allowed to explore. After sailing over 60,000 miles along the Antarctic coastline, Captain Cook was never able to complete the journey around the ice continent, which is supposed to be just under 12,000 miles around. Neither was James Clark Ross or the British ship Challenger. Nobody has ever successfully circumnavigated Antarctica. Many so-called flat earthers claim that these attempts failed because Antarctica is actually a massive ice barrier that surrounds the flat surface of the Earth. The azimuthal equidistant projection map, produced by the U.S. Geological Survey, has been used for centuries for the fact that all directions or azimuths are correct and all distances are at true scale. Studying this map, one can clearly see how man has been able to accurately circumnavigate the Earth on a flat plane model. And if it is in fact accurate, then it explains why after 60,000 miles, nobody has been able to completely circumnavigate Antarctica. Interestingly, this is also the map used by the United Nations. Admiral Richard Byrd, Medal of Honor winner, youngest admiral in the history of the Navy, and recipient of 3 ticker tape parades in his honor, led 4 expeditions to Antarctica. The 4th being a military operation known as Operation High Jump, with an aircraft carrier group, 4,700 men, 13 support ships, and 33 aircraft. Their stated mission was to establish the Antarctic research base Little America 4, but many believe the true nature of the secret mission was to root out the Nazis who arrived in 1939, claiming New Swabia and setting up a Nazi presence in Antarctica. In 1954, Admiral Richard Byrd spoke on TV of an area bigger than the United States with valuable resources and announced a future of international exploration.
Our very distinguished guest for this evening is Admiral Richard E. Byrd.
Strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being. And that's beyond the pole on the other side of the South Pole from Middle America. We've found enough coal within 180 miles of the South Pole in a great ridge of mountains. It's not covered with snow, enough to supply the whole world for quite a while. And I think it's quite astonishing that there should be an area as big as that unexplored.
That's a tremendous
So
challenge.
there's a lot of adventure left down at the bottom of the world.
Admiral, do you hope to see that?
I do. So I'm willing to say to you that there will be a number of expeditions that will follow, I think, year after year, to the bottom of the world, because the government has really become interested.
But this never happened. In 1957, Admiral Byrd died in his sleep of a heart ailment at the age of 68. And on December 1st, 1959, all 12 countries active in Antarctica signed a United Nations treaty that outlawed all public travel south of the 60th southern parallel. This was the same time that NASA was formed. The world's attention was pulled away from exploring Antarctica and directed firmly on the moon. In 1962, a series of high-altitude nuclear tests was carried out by the United States. It was called Operation Fishbowl, which has caught the curiosity of many flat Earth researchers because the flat Earth model shared by the ancients was one where we lived within a sphere, upon a flat surface, and surrounded by a massive dome, like a fishbowl, or The Truman Show. In 2012, the secret lost diary of Admiral Richard E. Byrd was published, wherein Admiral Byrd allegedly claimed to enter a hollow Earth through a hole in the center of Antarctica and meet with an advanced alien civilization. The diary provides no evidence of being authentic, and many would suggest that it portrays the distinguished admiral as a crackpot and strange tales of Antarctica as fantasy. To this day, the public is strictly prohibited from traveling below the 60th southern parallel. Nobody has ever completely circumnavigated Antarctica, and airplanes are prohibited from flying over the icy continent. What are they hiding? There is now talk of investing trillions of dollars to explore Mars. Why not Antarctica? If sharing videos about flat Earth is harmful, why not put it all to rest by circumnavigating Antarctica, documenting everything, and prove that the Earth is a spinning globe? For Infowars.com, this is Greg Reese.